Hey guys, Katie here. So today I wanted to talk about my transition from being a meat eater to a pescatarian, which I know just sounds bizarre. Usually once you're a meat eater, you're a meat eater and you're a meat eater. And I'm 26, so like what a weird time to decide I'm not going to eat meat anymore. Well, let me tell you how this happened. So a couple weeks ago, I had this dream, and it was the most awful dream. So in my dream, I was at work at the hospital where I'm a nurse, and a patient brought in Chinese food. And after eating a bunch of this, I think it was fried rice, and I think it had chicken in it, I want to say. After eating like my fair share of the fried rice, the patient decides to tell us that the meat was actually from her puppy that had died. And in my dream, I ran into the bathroom and started dry heaving and was like trying to make myself throw up. At the same time, my dog just barked. I think she knew what I was talking about. Anyway, I woke up the next morning and my mind was set. Like, I can't eat meat anymore. And when I say meat, I just mean mammals. I love seafood. I love fish, shellfish. I love all types of seafood. So I really don't foresee myself ever giving that up. But for now, and to be honest, I used to. Well, let's start. I've never been a huge red meat eater. Like, ground beef disgusts me, and I do not mean that offensively. If you can eat it and it's for you, that's awesome. My husband loves cheeseburgers and steaks and all sorts of red meat. So, and weirdly enough, if it was late enough, I could eat a taco from Taco Bell. So, I've had my fair share of red meat, and I used to love a good filet mignon, like a good steak. I honestly, this dream just has changed me. So weird. Anyway, so now you know my history. I used to love meat. And I used to love chicken. That's the weird thing. Chicken was my go-to protein. And now that I had this dream where in the dream I thought it was chicken that I was eating, I have no longer been able to even eat chicken. It's just so weird. I can't eat deli meat. I can't eat any meat. And I know that chickens aren't mammals, but I can't eat them either. It's bizarre. Anyway, so I'm a pescatarian now, and this has been going on for 3 weeks. So I'm not saying I'll be meat free for life, but as for now, that's how it's seeming. So let me tell you a little bit about how the transition has been, how I've made the transition easier. So to get my protein, I've really started to try to include eggs in my diet. I've never eaten eggs on a daily basis by any means, but I don't mind them. I like eggs. So now at the beginning of the week, I hard boil about a dozen eggs, and I'll eat them throughout a 5-day span. And usually I'll either make like an egg salad out of them, or what I've loved to do lately is put guacamole, get rid of the yolk and put guacamole in the egg. That's a great way to get your protein, some good fats. I mean, there are recipes all over Pinterest, Skinny Taste. I've been creative. But so eggs. I've included way more eggs in my diet than I typically would. I've also been eating a lot more black beans. A go-to of mine is a black bean and cheese quesadilla. Love them. And cheese. I have been eating so much more cheese, which is not necessarily good for the scale. But hey, I love cheese, so it's such a good excuse. I can't eat meat, so I gotta eat cheese. I've never been a huge milk fan, so for those that do like milk, though, that would be a great way to incorporate another source of protein in your diet. I'm sure there's so many other ways to incorporate the protein. I know that there's complete protein if you combine a bean and like a whole grain. I'd have to do my research. It's been a while since I took nutrition, but definitely if you are considering cutting meat out from your diet, you want to do your research on how you are going to be able to include enough protein intake and enough iron intake. I get plenty of green leafy vegetables. I love to juice. And like I said, beans, eggs, green leafy vegetables, cheese, all great ways that I am able to enjoy them. And again, the fish, like there's plenty of protein in the fish, and seafood. Although, there's always something. You don't want to have too much mercury in your diet, so you have to limit your intake of that as well. So it's a balancing act, but you don't want to. Everything in moderation is my my motto. So I have not felt lightheaded. I haven't had any signs of anemia. Sorry, there goes my computer light again. I've been really happy with the transition. I thought it was going to be more difficult. I thought I was going to miss it. I still cook it for my husband almost every day, and it doesn't bother me. The thought of putting it in my mouth, gets to me. No judgment by any means, because trust me, like I would consider myself a meat eater. It'll be interesting to see whether or not I go back. If I'm able to get over this, I would love to have a steak or a cheeseburger again, or some grilled chicken at least. But we'll see. Everyone talks about how they get pregnant and they've been a vegetarian for ages and they crave meat, and that's the end of it. So we'll see. I don't know. I would love some recommendations or suggestions on how to incorporate other sources of protein in your diet, any recipes you recommend for other pescatarians out there. And I really look forward to reading your guys' comments. Thanks. Have a good night.